So we had an experience, one of the trips with Nathan. He was about 18 months, 2 years old, one of the trips that we'd been down to Haiti. And when we would go to Haiti, we would stay at a hotel, and the children would sleep. I would be in one bed with my husband in the other, but I knew that in his experience in the orphanage, he was used to sleeping right with someone. And I remember one particular night where I actually was laying down in bed, and I had this little boy on my chest, and was kind of stroking his back, and I heard him say, in the dark, I heard him say, "Mama?" And I said, "Yes, baby." He said, "Hmm."
Oh.
And then he did it again. "Mama?" "Yes, baby." Hmm. And that went on for several minutes, and it was like just that reassurance for him in the night that I was there. And from my experiences, from talking to other parents, my theory is that you have a deficit, that child, all the cuddling and all the loving and all the one-on-one that you would have given a newborn, even though he came into our home at 2.5, I still owed him that. And so Nathan did sleep with us, does sleep with me still a lot at night. He needs that comfort. And when he is asleep, in his sleep, he'll reach out and do this to find and see where I am. It's also intriguing to me. My whole life, I've had this thin, flat, straight hair, but it's very soft, and it feels like nothing in Haiti. And so this is his security blanket. And so he started as a little baby, he would do this. And so wherever we are, if he runs up to me and starts, that's my cue that he needs something's upsetting him right then. He needs something, little hug, and so he'll come over and pet me. But that's comforting to him. For some reason, when he first came home, that was something that felt safe to him, that felt comfortable to him. So.
I agree that there is a deficit. I have said that exact same thing, that you have to make up for all that lost time. Because when you have a newborn, you are there when they wake, you're there when they sleep, you're there when they go to bed, you're there every second they're there. They look at you. They can open their eyes and see you.
Right there.
And I did sleep with my girls. When we made their bed on the floor, they didn't want to sleep in their bed. I did sleep with them a couple of nights. I'd get up in the middle of the night and then move because they're on top of me.
Right.
And I'm sad that I couldn't do that with my 14-year-old son. He's more independent, and obviously it's a little bit different with a boy. When you bring a 13-year-old boy, he was 13, I guess, there's still a deficit. I'm still trying to figure out how to make that up.
Yeah. It does. I know from other family members, there have been people that are saying, "Oh, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't let him sleep with you." Well, you don't know my son. You don't know where he's been, and
Right.
I'm his mom, and I know where his heart is and what he's been through, and that's I need to be able to parent him the way that I think he needs, and it's different between our two kids too.
Right, and I found that along that same line, family members that are best intentioned, that they want to help you. I've got this problem, what are your suggestions or whatever, but I find when it's a conflict that I think I was there, I saw how my child lived in an orphanage. You didn't, which is not anybody's fault. Even my own child doesn't remember so much about the orphanage, but I saw it, I remember it, and that's something that I think about every time, when I make those decisions. Will I let him sleep with me? Well, will I let him not eat this? Well, cook a whole different meal or whatever. I think about those situations that the rest of, well-intentioned people that want to help you parent, they don't have that frame of reference. So it's hard. It was hard for me. That was hard for me to accept other people telling me, you're doing it wrong, when I'm like, no, this is my child. And obviously every child is raised differently, even within your own family.
Right.
So I think you just have to sometimes just do your own thing and, let them think what they want, but this is, you're doing what's best for your child, so.
Well, and definitely kind of throwing out all of the structured parenting. Mm-hmm. Not that they don't need to learn structure and have that gradually, but we bring home a child who's 3 from an orphanage, and I have no idea what's happened for 3 years. She actually had open heart surgery It kills me to think I wasn't there for it. I don't know. Was she loved? Did people take care of her? Was she left alone? You know, talking about the dogs, was she attacked by a dog? A lot of children in orphanages have been sexually abused, and you won't have that history, which is so difficult and so hard. And I think you've just got to, if you're a person who believes in God, you have got to pray every minute and just whatever it takes to be in tune to parent differently that child for what they may need. And it may be they need more solitude. It may be that they're 8 or 9 and still need to suck their thumb at some times, or that they're not going to be potty trained at the normal time. Maybe that's just too much to deal with for a year or so, depending on how old they were when they get home. And let that be okay in your mind, because they've gone through things we probably can't imagine, good and bad. And I think if we try to overstructure it, and it's going to have a negative effect on
I
these
agree.
poor little things.
It's super important for success of adopting or of parenting adopted kids and biological kids who have special needs, be that physical or just even emotional, that it's really important to be able to think outside of the box and not feel pressure from other parents or Western parenting books on how to parent your child. I think it's important to read and come in eyes wide open, but I think you can be in tune to your kid and really know that they might need to suck their thumb when they're 9, and they might need to sleep with you every night, and they might need, I'm even thinking of I have a biological daughter who is just really super anxious, and she didn't experience trauma that I know of, but I've always had to parent her differently. And then I have my 3 adopted kids who did experience trauma, and they need to be parented differently. And I've had people say, I know people are thinking, why do you let them do that? Or why are you letting my biological child, for instance, had a bottle till she was 5, and the doctor was telling me to get my 2-year-old off the bottle, and I'm thinking, well, my 5-year-old's not even off the bottle. But she needed that once a day. That was her piece. And these kids, the more trauma they've been through and the more their little souls have absorbed that and haven't worked through it, the more differenting parent techniques they will be. And I think as parents, I think the biggest gift is to be able to learn how to be what I've heard called as like a conscious parent, like tuning into your child's special need, not your need to make them better than you or as good as you or
But meet them
a
where they
mirror
are.
of you.
Right.
But what do they need to thrive? And that is going to be a lot of times different for kids who've come from orphanages and traumatic backgrounds, who've experienced trauma and been neglected and everything.
Amy, what you said, Sophia has literal scars that I'll never know what happened, right? But even if they don't have physical, there are emotional things that that they're carrying because of what they've been through and the circumstance that they were in. Just meet them in their place and where they are.
I love that someone told me my daughter, she's a little bit of a liar, or we can just say a storyteller. But that's how she survived in the orphanage. She was one of the youngest kids in the orphanage. That's textbook survival, and she overreacts. That's textbook survival for an orphanage kid and non-orphanage kids as well. But, when she's freaking out, it's because she knew in an orphanage, in order to not get bullied, if she freaked out and lashed out and scraped everybody, everyone would leave her alone. And guess what? I've been told she was left alone.
Yes.
So she accomplished exactly. Mm-hmm. And I need to look at that lash out as that's a survival skill she developed.
And that's why
it's not bad.
Yes.
It's learned and it's survival. She's tough.
It's what got her through to the point that
It's
she
what
became.
got her through. And she can learn not to be like that.
Right.
But I don't need to react in a way you might react
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Agreed.
otherwise.